It worked. Okay. Wow. Okay, God, now I gotta fucking figure out something to say. Um, so hopefully the sound on this is decent, and it looks like the lighting is okay. This is, maybe my second video, and I got myself a fancy camera to actually do these. The other one, I'd already bought the camera, but I was waiting for it to get here, so I did it on my phone. The camera actually got here and all the other stuff like between a couple days and a week ago, but my parents are here or were here. They're gone for the day, so and I get really self-conscious about doing these things when people can hear me, which is really ironic because I'm putting it on the internet. But that's anyway. So the last video was all about kind of fear and wow, my head is so crooked. There we go. All about fear and just kind of an introduction and why I've finally decided to take the plunge, as it were. So in this video, this is again mostly just to record face and voice, and I know I want to do a little bit of singing because that's something that's always been really important to my life. I've been a singer since I was a little kid, and it used to be what I wanted to do with my life. It's really funny actually because I had a speech impediment growing up. I had a lisp, a really bad lisp, and sorry, I have cats. I had a really bad lisp, and I got sent to speech therapy in elementary school for it. And one of the reasons I decided to dedicate myself to getting rid of it was because I wanted to be able to sing professionally, and I didn't think I could do it. And when I say professionally, I mean like I wanted to be like a pop star, I guess. I didn't think I could do it with a lisp. So that was like my motivation, I guess. And I got rid of it. You can't. There's no lisp. But uh, and then I sang in choirs and oh, for hell's sake, Tony, Tony, stop. I'm sorry. That's probably gonna keep happening. And I don't know how to edit videos, so these are gonna be haphazard at best. Sorry. Hopefully it's not too bad. I'll try to keep this shorter than an hour because I don't want to bore anyone. But so anyway, I was in choirs and you know elementary school and middle school. I was in show choir. Oh God, I'm talking like serious show choir, complete with sequin dress and heels and dance numbers. It was bad. But I really enjoyed it anyway. And then in high school, I was in the choir again. Not a show choir this time, just a normal choir. But I did not get advanced to the advanced choir. Partially because my sight reading sucked. But also because the choir director was kind of a douche. And he had some hang-ups on the fact that things. I'm pretty sure he really didn't like the fact that I was in charge of our school's GSA, among other things. But it's not a big deal. So then I never really stopped singing, but I stopped singing a lot after that. In the same way, it's kind of different just singing in your car and singing with yourself than when you're in a structured setting. Um, but that's always been one of my big like concerns about starting tea is how it's gonna affect my voice. And the other thing is the reason it's not like a deal breaker for me is because my voice is also one of the main reasons I want to start tea because I pass pretty well. I know passing is whatever, but a lot of guys, a lot of people just look at me and they immediately assume I'm a guy until I open my mouth and say something. And that's a big form of anxiety and insecurity for me because it basically means I have no choice but to out myself. Um, and it's especially when people are using the correct pronouns for me deliberately, like my friends, my family, my coworkers, around new people who I don't know, and that new person hears someone else calling me he, and they assume I'm a guy, and then I speak, or they ask me something, and I feel like I need to speak, but I know as soon as I say something, they're gonna know that it causes me a lot of emotional stress. So I'm really hoping that tea will help that and quickly, if possible. But I am really afraid of losing my voice in terms of being able to sing. So I have been training it down while singing for the past like year and a half, and it's worked surprisingly well. I didn't think it would. But unfortunately, the weird thing is that now, like, I got this weird, I lose the middle ground, I guess is the best way to say it. Um, like, I can do the high octaves, and that's actually more comfortable for me, even though I was an alto, whatever, altoids, um, all through, like, high school and stuff when I was actually being put in choir sections. I was an alto. But the mid to high range was always more comfortable for me when I'm singing along with songs, especially with male singers who are doing the lower range that I can't quite hit. But now it's like I can hit a lot of the lower ranges, or at least I think I can. It feels like I can. But then when I try to do their mid ranges, I can't hit them, so I end up shifting back into the high range, and it's this. It doesn't sound good. It really doesn't sound good. I'm gonna try not to do that on the video. We'll see how well that goes. Um, I'm not really sure how to record that, but I'm not gonna do that on this video because this one's already getting pretty long. It's 8 minutes now. This is, I guess, another introductory video about my voice and how that stresses me out, and about getting a new camera, I guess. So, whoops. I hope it's still entertaining to you in some way. But I guess I shouldn't be focusing on that. I should be focusing on doing these for myself and not the fact that my cats seem to choose exactly these moments when I'm talking to make noise because they love me. Um, what else? Okay, let's talk a little bit more about issues not related to singing. So that this video has a purpose of its own. You'll notice I look like a slob. Uh, that's because I have work again in like 5 hours, 4 hours or something. I've been working like 40 hours since I started, which is when I made the last video. And by the way, that was on December 11th. It's not going to be uploaded on December 11th, obviously. It is now December 20th, or the 21st. I don't know. I work graveyard shift, So keeping track of days has become a complicated maneuver for me because it's like my work day starts and ends on different days, and that gets really confusing, especially when someone's like, "Who did the dishes on Sunday?" It's like, do you mean today or yesterday? Uh, anyway, the reason I look like a slob is because I'm not binding right now. Because I've been binding at work every single shift, and I've never had a problem with binding before. It's never been an issue. Um, Even like 8 to 9 or plus hours a day, it's never been an issue for me. It's never really caused me problems. Maybe if I fall asleep in it, it's caused me some problems and I wake up sore. Um, don't do that, by the way. I make an effort not to do that, but sometimes it just happens, you know. And I exercise in my bed. Also, don't do that. It's bad for you, apparently. I have limited lung capacity anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. For me, feeling like it doesn't make a difference, I probably shouldn't do it anyway, but I do it because I'm not comfortable exercising otherwise, and I feel like it's better for me to exercise than not, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Don't do what I do, please. Don't take my advice on this. This is bad. Take my advice and don't do it. That's better. Um, but I don't know what it is about wearing it at work. Um, but binding at work has been really hard lately. Like I mean, I'm already waking up sore anyway, but especially the past like 2 3 days, I'm waking up with a lot of chest pain, and like all during my shift. Last time you'll notice I'm a little bit hunched over here. All during my shift, last shift, I had really bad chest pains, and that was not fun. I'm having limited lung capacity right now, too, more than normal, plus chest pains, and I'm just sore. And when I inhale, it hurts. And all of these are bad signs. It means that I've been binding too much, and I don't know why binding at work is causing this much more problem than just binding normally. Maybe it's because I'm tense. Maybe it's because I'm doing some heavy lifting. Maybe it's because I'm standing for 8 to 9 hours at a time, and that's compressing my spine and making it harder on my rib cage. I don't know. Either way, I've already only been putting the binder on right before I go to work and taking it off as soon as I get home from work. But I'm making a concerted effort to definitely not bind any time right now that I don't have to. So I'm not binding right now, which is why I'm wearing like 3 layers of clothing and a baggy hoodie because, you know, boobs. Uh, but I'm gonna try and sing. I can and do sing with a binder on. I'm obviously not going to be doing that right now. I have found that it doesn't really affect my ability to sing in any way. I'm just going to talk about something else that I don't remember. We're back on singing. We're not going to talk about singing anymore because we're going to talk about it in the next video. Oh, one more thing about singing is that one of the reasons that I felt like it was going to be okay is because of a singer named, oh god, let's see if I can not fuck up his name. James Alexander James Adams. Fuck, no, I don't know. And he is the, nah, this is not entirely kosher because I know dead naming people sucks. But I'm gonna put it in his words, okay? So he is the musical heir to Heather Alexander, and she was, again, his way of framing things. Okay, she was a singer who did a lot of like medieval folk Renaissance fair type stuff, and she sang one of my favorite songs that I first heard in college, called "The March of Cambrith," and it was the battle song of a group I was with, a LARPing group actually. So that should tell you everything you need to know about what kind of person I am. But the March of Cambrith was one of my favorite songs, and then one of them just offhandedly mentioned to me that Heather Alexander was now a guy, and that was kind of like one of those first groundbreaking moments for me, because it was before I came out as trans, before I even figured out for myself that I was a trans guy. Like I already knew that I was trans at that point, and I was already trying to explain to people from more of a genderqueer, non-binary approach. And this was back in like 2010, so you can imagine the kind of kickback I was getting over that. But that was one of the things that kind of like, I don't know, it was like a light bulb moment, you know? Anyway, back away from singing, back to work. My coworkers are really cool. The other day, my boss actually corrected one of my coworkers about my pronouns, and then last night, one of my coworkers corrected himself on my pronouns, and he was like, I didn't know, couldn't ask you, I had to check with the manager, and it was just like, it was really cute, because I've been stressing about it a little bit with him, because he's, a good old boy, you know, and you never know where that, and he was like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, well, I don't like to cause problems. He was like, you wouldn't have caused a problem with me, and I was like, well, I don't know that, and he just didn't really get it, you know, but and it just, I've been thinking about that since it happened, because it's like, I don't blame him, at all. And I made that very clear that we were totally cool. It was all good. But I've been thinking about the fact that like so many people don't, because they don't consider themselves a threat, they don't understand how someone else could see them as a potential threat. You know what I mean? Which is something that at least I am, and I know a lot of other people are always potentially aware of. But I know I've got a little bit easier with, being white and being upper middle class or middle class. I don't know. I'm poor, but balls, my batteries. Anyway, I don't have a ton of money, but I am fortunate and privileged enough to be in a situation where I have people who have money are willing to stick their neck out for me, if that makes sense. And that's definitely a privilege that I have. And things could be a lot scarier and a lot worse than they are. But it that just kind of always amazes me how you can be blind to that, to the position of power you hold over other people, and the fact that someone else might be scared of how you might react. Because even if you're being nice to someone under a certain context, they don't necessarily know that you're going to stay nice if they do or say something that offends you or anything like that. But I don't want to talk too much about that, because that's sticky business. What else? Well, my battery's getting low, and this is running on 20 minutes, which is too long. And the cats are going crazy. So I'm gonna close this off, and Thanks for listening.